You know, there's some of us are in both services. Well, Lisa's leaving now. Look at her. She's leaving. She's staying for the second service. That's right.
They're going to go walk. They're going to go walk.
I'm just saying, they're not staying for the second service. I don't know where they're going.
They're walk.
They're not staying for the second service. Bye. That's all I'm saying. They know I'm kidding around. Well, all I said was they're not staying for the second service. But what I was going to say is, when you hear the two services, oh, hey, Myron. Good to see you. He's staying. Is that sometimes you hear something different at each one. And when Kimberly sang that song in the first service, I heard something. And in this second service, what really stuck with me is painting with the colors of the wind. Like, what does that mean? And how it's different when you're standing on the earth and you think the earth is all there is, right? But something changes when you can paint with the colors of the wind. Now, I'm not going to even tell you what I think that means, because I'm going to ask you to think about that this week. I'm going to ask you to think about what that could mean in your life for you. Because that's kind of what I'm talking about today is the words we use and what they mean. But I'm going to be thinking about painting with the colors of the wind, because I think that's going to be really an amazing thing to do, to be able to do. And I have an idea of what I'm thinking about that, but I'm not ready to share it because I'm really not quite sure. But sometimes we catch on to these sayings, especially in unity, I think, and we think they're really unity sayings, and we think they sound really good, and we think they hold a unity truth. And we jump on the bandwagon with it, and we're like, yeah, because we think that's the truth about what's happening, or what I really believe. But I think that isn't always the case. And I think for all of our talk about God being not out there somewhere, and that God is within, and God is the one power and one presence in my life and in the universe, that we have a lot of sayings and a lot of ways of speaking that lead us to the exact opposite of that. I think we have some sayings and some things we think are truth that talk about or lead us to believe of a God out there. So I want to talk about a couple of those this morning. And the first one I want to talk about is this one. And maybe you used it, maybe you haven't. And here's the other caveat to this whole talk. You don't have to believe anything I say. Okay? What I believe is you have the innate wisdom, judgment, and power to know what it is for you. And regardless of what I say, you are the ruler of your own consciousness.
Amen.
But I'm up here, so I'm going to talk a little about something. So the first one that I think is a metaphysical miscalculation, as it were, is this saying: it's all happening as it's supposed to happen. It's all happening as it's supposed to happen. Have you ever been on the receiving end of that? It's all happening as... Have you ever been on the giving end of that one? I know some of you have. I know we have in unity because I've heard it said here before. And what I want to know is, what is the it that is happening and who is supposing it to happen? That's what I want to know. What is the it and who is the supposing it? Because let's face it, this statement really, I think, in my opinion, leads us to a God outside of ourselves. Like there must be this God supposing this to happen, whatever it is. Because we like to say this saying when other people are having difficulty. Right? Somebody gets sick. I had the flu recently. You know the last thing I wanted to hear? It's all happening the way it's supposed to. Really? Like, what are you trying to tell me? What are you trying to tell me about that? Is it comforting? Is it loving? Is it helping me in any way? Don't say that to me when I'm sick. What about if you're going through a divorce? Is that what you want to hear? It's all happening the way it's supposed to. Well, this wasn't what you planned, was it? That wasn't the plan when you walked down the aisle. It's all happening the way it's supposed to happen. What does that even mean? What does that mean? When Annette fell and broke 2 of her wrists off the bicycle, we want to say, well, Annette, it's all happening the way it's supposed to happen. All right? I guess you were supposed to learn something from that. There's a God out there sending you this clue. Slow down, Annette. All right? Paula, you better slow down. Take care of yourself. Well, here's the thing. There is no one or no thing outside of you sending you a condition or a circumstance for your own spiritual growth or as a test. There's no one doing that. It's not happening.
Amen.
It's not happening. That's not a truth that I agree with. It's not happening. Okay? There was a woman here, it's been a while in this church, and she lost her husband. He was in hospice care. It was a cancer situation, and she said to me about a month afterwards, she said, Paula, all of those unity people, they're coming up to me saying, oh, it's all happening the way it's supposed to. It's all in divine order. She said, what? What's that about? And I was like, yeah, I didn't have an answer for her. I was like, oh, that's a tough one, right? Why would you say that to anyone who is dealing with that kind of situation? Well, I think it's because we really don't know what it means. We really don't have an understanding. We heard it and it sounded really good. But let's break it down. Let's break it down. I'll break it down for you the way I broke it down. And I'm going to say, well, what is the it? What is the it that is happening as it is supposed to happen? What is that it? You know, to me, that it is life. What we're talking about is life. Life is happening. I can get behind that statement. Life is happening. I think that's true. No matter what's going on, life is happening. Energy is moving and being transformed. There's birth and death going on. There's old and new. There's all this energy in creation happening in all sorts of ways. Life is happening, folks. That's the truth, yes? Life is happening. I like it. That's an affirmation of what I believe is true. No matter what is going on in your life, life is happening. Energy is moving. And the creative forces are colliding in all different ways. So I like that as the first part. And then I think in the second part, I've got to get rid of the supposing thing. When I look up supposed to in my dictionary.com, which is my go-to dictionary, supposed to means intended to. Well, I'm like, well, who or what is intending or supposing anything? I said, I need to get rid of that word. Like I said, I don't believe there is anything, no one or no thing outside of me sending me anything. I'm not separate from it. We talk about oneness, so what is out there sending me anything? That doesn't make any sense to me. So I'm saying it this way. I'm revising it to this. I'm saying life is happening and I am engaging life. Life is happening and I am engaging life. I'm engaging life in whatever way. And that not the flu and 2 broken wrists. We are engaging that. We're engaging life. When we engage life, we choose about what it is. Okay? We say, well, this is life. This is how life is expressing in my purview, in my area. That's what's happening right now. Life. And I'm engaging in it. I'm engaging. I engaged for a whole week in bed. I felt terrible. That was the level of my engagement with that life. That was the level of my engagement. Okay? So, life is happening, and I am engaging life. Kimberly has some exciting stuff about to go on. She's going on after she graduates. She's going to be singing at Disney World or Land. Disney World as a princess. She's going to be a princess at Disney World. Life is happening and she is engaging life. That's exciting. Much more exciting than being in my bed for a week. And the same. You see, here's the thing about Unity Truths. They're the same no matter what type or level of energy is happening. Okay? Life is happening. Energy is moving. Things are shifting. There's birth and death. There's old and new. And I'm engaging that. I'm choosing. And Charles Fillmore says this, co-founder of Unity, says, all cause begins first in mind, in consciousness. So the first place that we engage life is in our mind, what we think, what we believe, what our emotion is, and then we engage it in activity and in action. We engage life in that way. Life is happening, and I am engaging life. Now that's something that's true all the time. It's not true only when there's good stuff or bad stuff. And it certainly isn't something you'd say to anybody who's having a difficult time. It's simply a truth. Okay? And if somebody was having a difficult time, Nancy had surgery about a month ago, I'd say, I love you. I feel for you. I see you whole and complete. Not, it's all happening the way it's supposed to. You see the difference? Say what you mean and mean what you say. is what this is about. Or you don't say. So there's a close relative of this saying that many of you use. I'm sorry. I've heard it. Many of you use. And you know who you are. I don't need to point anybody out. And I said it was the cousin, but I really think it's the brother or sister of this saying. And that is this: everything happens for a reason. Everything happens for a reason. Many people still think, well, that's true. Everything happens for a reason. Well, I'll tell you what. The reason I got the flu is because I was worn out. I was stressed out, and I was vibrating at an elevation that this flu bug said, I think I can land there and make it work for me. And it landed right here, and it made it work. And I got the flu. That's the reason I got the flu. The reason Annette has 2 broken wrists is she was riding her bicycle, and there was this big old post right here, and she was off looking over here, and bang, she ran right into the post and off the bicycle. And that's why she broke her wrists. There wasn't a God out there saying, I think Annette needs to slow down. I think she just needs to feel what it feels like to be incapacitated. No, really? That's not what we teach her. But that's kind of what that's saying thing. Everything happens for a reason. Whose reason? What is the everything and whose reason is it? Well, I just told you the 2 reasons that I think. That's why I think I got the flu. Okay, I don't think God sent it to be as a message for growth, because I don't believe there's anyone outside of me sending me anything for my own spiritual growth or for my learning. But here's the thing, and we know what everything is, right? Everything happens for a reason. We know what the everything is. It's what? Life. It's life. Life happens for a reason. No, it doesn't happen for a reason. How about this? Life happens, and I make it mine. Life is happening, energies, and I'm going to make it mine. I'm going to decide what it's about for me. I'm going to decide if it's about growth or if it's about not growing. I'm going to decide if I'm going to engage it and move forward or if I'm going to take the back seat and be a victim. I'm going to decide what this is about for me. I'm going to choose. I have the power. See, I'm the point of power for me, and you're the point of power for you. You choose what it is. Okay? Life is happening, and I make it mine. And it made it her. She was walking around here like this. It didn't let her slow down. Somebody might have said, well, I guess she didn't get the message. What message? She made the message for herself. I made the message for me. You make the message for you. Things don't happen for a reason. Life doesn't happen for a reason any other except for the one you bring to it. You bring the reason to it. There could be 10 people that experience 2 broken wrists, or 10 people who have surgery, or 10 people who have the flu, and we all would experience a different thing. We would always choose something a little different. And I bring up the story that I've told many times here about that happened at 9/11, when the towers had fallen. And this one woman, this one mother, one of her daughters came home from the Twin Towers, and one of them did not come home. One of them died in the Twin Towers. And this reporter is putting a microphone up to her and saying, what would you tell? What would you tell the people? What would you tell people about this? And she paused and she simply said this: when you encounter someone who's different from you, show them love. That was her take on it. There weren't many who had that take, were there? There are not many we heard about, maybe, that came away with that. So no matter what is happening, life is happening. No matter what kind of life, what vibration, what it is, how it appears, life is happening, but I make it mine. I decide. I choose. I choose it. Okay? So the message today really is about examining your words. Examining your words. Are you saying, do you even know what you're saying when you say these unity things? Or any other thing for that matter. We were talking and when we had our brunch today, we were talking about something else. It doesn't matter what it is. Do you really know what it means to you when you say it? When you use this word or this phrase? And then, do you really want to say that to someone? Particularly when they're in a challenging situation. Because that's when we use these two. Oh, everything happens for a reason. You must have deserved this. Something's coming your way, right? Is that really what we want to say to somebody? Or is what really we want to say is, I love you. I care for you. I feel for you. I'm sorry that you feel this way. I want to be here for you. I think that's what we really want to convey. We really want to convey our compassion, and not these words that we really don't even know what they mean to us. So be careful of your words. And a lot of times, one of the ways to shift for yourself is, instead of saying these statements like this, begin with the I. Begin with I. For instance, one of the things that I've adopted in my life is, I don't say thank you, God. I'm like, who am I thanking? We say God is omnipotence, presence, love. It's His power that's unlimited in all ways. Do you think that power needs to be thanked by me? What I want to say is, I am grateful. I open my heart to the unlimited abundance that you are flowing through me. I don't need to thank God. I don't need to ask God either. God, please help me do this. You know what I really need to do? Is I need to align myself with that power that we say is omnipresent. And say, I open my heart to the unlimited flow of good from you through me. You see, claiming that. That's what's called affirmative prayer. It's affirmative because we're aligning with the truth. And not, it's all good. What do you mean when you say it's all good? What is it?
Life.
Life. And you know what I say it is? I start with the I and say, I am always looking for the good. That's what I want to see, so that's what I want to look for. Not it's all good, but I'm always looking. I'm looking for the good. I'm looking for the possibility. I'm always looking. I'm always open to the next greatest possibility, you see? So a lot of times, if you're evaluating your own phrases, start with that I and see where that takes you. See where that takes you to your own core. What are you really saying and really want to experience in the outer? Because too often we want to jump on that feel-good cart, the one with the 2 square wheels, because we think it sounds good. We think we know what it means. We heard somebody say it and said, oh, it must be a unity thing. But examine that, because here's what I know for sure. You have the innate wisdom to know what it is for you. You just haven't stopped long enough to truly understand what it means to me, for me, and you for you. And then we can treat others from that place of understanding with our words and say, I love you. I care about you. You matter to me. I'm always seeing the best in you. I wish you only peace and joy and love. And we can leave these other statements on the side of the road, maybe, where they belong. So as always, when we leave unity, and what unity is about is the last of our noble truths, which is practice, practice, practice. And this is what this is calling us to do, to practice awareness, and to practice first being aware in our mind, and then practice by our actions, by perhaps changing the way we speak to others and come more sincerely from our heart, yes? So, what would Richard say? Practice well, not just for yourself, but for the entire living being that is planet Earth and oneness that is God, yes? Thank you.